What fictitious creature would help the world most if it existed? Trubbish Pokemon. They eat trash. Our landfills will be heaven for them. It's not that simple. If we've got poison type Pokemon running about, then we'd also need some ground types and psychic types to keep them in check. And if we've got ground type and psychic type Pokemon, then we'd also want some water types, some grass types, some ice types, and maybe some ghost types, dark types and bug types to keep them in line. And if we've got water type, grass type, ice type, ghost type, dark type, and bug type Pokemon, then you better believe we're going to need some electric types, some fire types, some flying types, some fighting types, some steel types, some rock types, and some fairy types. And heck, if we've got all of those guys, we may as well throw in some normals and dragons. Dryads. Forestry and environmental protection would be more popular if trees were inhabited by hot chicks. I like to think they'd turn murdery a la poison ivy. They'd still be the best for the world, just not for humanity. An honest and selfless politician. They exist. They just don't get very far. I think sphinxes. We'd be able to have a perfect, truly unbiased justice system. One totally without any form of prejudice. What if you're bad at riddles? And don't they kill anyone who answers them incorrectly? A giant sheep that eats trash and human waste. Biomeat is the right manga for you, buddy. Ents. We need them to protect the rainforest. Ents basically get bored and stop paying attention. They don't even know where the end wives went. The Babel fish. Actually, didn't it end up causing too many wars precisely because everyone could understand each other? The immortal bee. Because bees are dying all over the world, and if they went extinct there would be a lot less animals or bugs that pollinate. An immortal queen bee. One bee can be immortal but can only do so much. A queen bee can produce some bees. I don't know if it would be able to produce them forever though. Pokemon named Suicune. It clears water by touching it. Steps on the ocean and makes 70% of the earth drinkable water for a little bit. Gandalf. This so much actually. Because it's not necessarily his actions directly affecting Middle-earth. Rather he tries to bring the best out of people and have society make the change. The world could do with an internationally renowned leader that has no agenda other than the betterment of our earth. The squid from Watchmen. The Stanley Parable narrator. Wouldn't everyone want his deep voice looming over you? Hearing him narrate would make it more fun to be around others. Dragons. The Dragon Hut movie kind. Not Reign of Fire. I'd prefer hutted dragons. They are just badass flying cats, so we could handle them as pets. Midichlorians. I've got a great idea. Double quote. Narrator. He did not have a great idea. SCP-999. Unless the Foundation existed too. Which would not only mean other, potentially dangerous, anomalies. But they would keep 999 a secret. Worst case that means SCP-2000 also exists. Which is nice I guess. Not for us specifically. But as a whole. Lol. Godzilla. Yeah, all the titans would be a drastic help to the ecosystems which we need. And oh yeah, giant monsters are cool ASF. Pikachu. Free renewable energy. I'm pretty sure Pikachu needs energy to do electric stuff. Dryads or other entities that would protect our forests and wildlife. The trees won't be harmed. If the Lorax is armed. The Night King would help with cooling the earth. If he gets out of hand then we have Dragonstone. He had a dragon too though. He could probably fly on over and breathe season 8 on us. A Terisk. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. For when you absolutely have to kill every motherfucker in the room. Double quote. Brownies. I would love to leave some food or cream out at night and wake up to a clean house in exchange. I might be getting my famous mixed up. But what if? House cleaning fairies. Close bracket. Just keep some honey in case it turns into boggart. Dragons. Just cause they're cool and stuff. Plus, more mating partners for donkeys. God probably. That's pretty much the deal of the guy. Well, some gods more than others. Not to start a religious war or anything. Captain Hindsight. We said fictional, not every reporter and politician ever. Captain Planet. Phoenixes. We could gather their tears to save lives. And they're renewable too. The God Emperor of mankind. Even if the Emperor did exist, he's not going to be doing anything of note, anything that would change our timeline, for another 28,000 years. Then he's gonna start a war. Be a terrible father. And get crippled so the galaxy will turn into a theocratic dump. And it also means we have to deal with the warp, or he'll just be another powerless mortal chump. All in all, not worth it. Jigglypuff. It would do so much for Insomniac. Phineas and Ferb. Muum. Phineas and Ferb built a utopian society. Disappears. Am I be the one to say it? Domestic cats Gerals. While I agree, it doesn't help the world much in the grand scheme of things. Just creates a method to deal with depression for some people and more degenerates. Though, degenerates may save the world. Elves. Like the ones in Lord of the Rings. Edit. Wrong plural form for word elf. As awesome as that would be, I don't see how that would help. They're basically just taller humans with pointy ears, good aim, and longer lifespans. Their existence would probably just start an X-Men-like race war between humans and elves if anything. Superman. Then we need Batsy just in case Sups goes crazy. A unicorn because unicorns are awesome. Originally they were evil fucks. Thanos. Oh right. He can wipe out not only half of the world but the universe. Genies. Perhaps they once existed till someone wished they don't. The Vogon Constructor Fleet. As long as I don't have to listen to their poetry. Usajitsu Kino Sailor Moon. Gives us all immortality. Heals all injury and disease. Is perfectly willing to help people. And unless you are out to destroy the entire universe, unlikely to fight you. And if hostile aliens do show up, she's a galactic level reality warper that can tell them to go FCK off and is strong enough physically to fistfight the Hulk. Hold up. She's galactic level? I didn't realize she was that powerful. A compassionate and reasonable Karen. They exist and they want to speak to the manager of racism. God. I really don't think he would. He's a sociopath and a narcissist that's tried to exterminate us a couple of times. Kon-Tiki rose from Lake Titicaca during the time of darkness to bring forth light. He made the sun, moon, and the stars. He made mankind by breathing into stones. But his first creation were brainless giants that displeased him. So he destroyed it with a flood and made a new, better one from smaller stones. Kon-Tiki eventually disappeared across the Pacific Ocean by walking on the water. And never returned. He wandered the earth disguised as a beggar, teaching his new creations the basics of civilization, as well as working numerous miracles. He wept when he saw the plight of the creatures he had created. It was thought that Kon-Tiki would reappear in times of trouble. I recently realized that Superman is actually America's public enemy number one. Hear me out here. And X200B. Superman Clark Kent Kal-El is a Kryptonian who may have been in the US from an extremely young age but was not born here. He was only ever given honorary citizenship, probably as a token of gratitude from saving the Earth. And X200B. He's a journalist, reporting the facts and not just what the people want to hear see. And X200B. He's extremely physically fit. I mean, come on. Full stop. Full stop. The guy's called Superman for a reason. And X200B. So, he's an extremely strong, dangerous journalist of foreign origin. Full stop. Full stop. How do US citizens like this guy? If it isn't obvious. This is sarcastic. Furies, best way to punish people. Succubus incubus are golem, protectors made of a material that is easily accessible. Nymphs, could heal wounded people in certain locations. Krampus, a very tamed down Krampus could encourage kids to be better. Satyrs bridge the language barrier between people and pets. Automaton, can create specific beings for specific tasks. There is also some winged dogs who resurrect people who died in war by licking, plus their spit can be used for mexicine. If I am not wrong. If I were God, I would make dryads, nymphs, ents, and centaurs. Then I would deposit them all in the Amazon rainforest and arm them with crossbows. Capital D. Oh, the nymphs and dryads are sexy AF. Nymphs live in water. Dryads are part tree. Centaurs are just mean. All the Pokemon. Then everyone can be a Pokemon trainer and just travel. While it sounds great on paper, it may not be so great. Living sludge that kills any plant life it touches. Giant sea dragons able to destroy cities in a single night. Just about any fire type. Foxes that kidnap children. Ghosts that steal and eat people's souls. I could go on and on. Got. Not being an edgelord. I'm serious. I think a deity who allegedly loves its creation would help in 2020. Dragon, from Dragon Ball. That would be terrible. Every decade or so, we'd hear about some rich FCK footing the bill for an expedition to search for the Dragon Balls. When they inevitably find the last one, the news crews arrive to find a camp full of corpses and no balls. And the sky turns black. A beam of energy turns into a dragon. And we hear it is done. Double quote. And the next day everyone realizes there's no more black people. Or little girls everywhere become sexually promiscuous. Or the stock price of some random company no one ever heard up goes up by 10x. Or China disappears. Or some other world shattering, non-helpful to humanity bullshit. Shenron would absolutely be the worst thing for humanity. Kirin. The appearance of a chimerical dragon unicorn would mean an age of peace and prosperity with the arrival of a great leader or person of great wisdom. It can also breathe holy fire. I'm definitely leaning toward Optimus Prime. I mean, okay. If a giant space truck man tells you to do something, you do it. Peace treaty? Yes sir, MR Prime. Better social programs? Right away sir. And also, what are you gonna do? Disappoint your giant metal father figure? Are you Hot Rod? Is your name Hot Rod? Santa Claus would motivate people to do good in exchange for yearly gifts that you truly cherish. If he can be the ultimate moral judge, as being able to make a list of all good and naughty children implies, he could be the ultimate benevolent dictator with Big Brother powers. Fix it Felix. He could just boink someone on the head and fix them. Sickness and mental health included. Depressed? Boink. COVID-19? Boink. House hit by a hurricane? Boink. COVID-19? Wereabouts from an old world of darkness. They were able to cleanse corruption without corrupting themselves. The Lorax. To speak for the trees. Litter again and he'll break your f-king knees. The Reapers would solve quite a few problems. Just in a sort of unfavorable way. A Composic Pulse. It would breathe in catalysts like CO2 and pollutions and exhale nitrogen and oxygen. You know, these days I have actually been thinking having Thanos carrying out his plan may not be a bad idea after all. The Lorax. He would discourage people cutting trees and protect forests. How will it help, you may ask? Well, this'll prevent global warming. Bring rainfall to dry areas. Give shade. Prevent soil erosion. Will stop 90% of the natural calamities that occur. If only and only he existed. The Fae from folklore and D&D. Just scatter them through the population at random. Karens would be a lot less bitchy to others if those others could potentially wreck your shti for being an asshole. Why yes. I do work in retail. How did you guess? For a less sarcastic answer, I'd have to say the schmooze. Because FCK your capitalism. Centaurs because they would take care of the forests and punish people who disrespected nature's environment. Okay, so I've been thinking about it and the only good answer is Aragorn. Based on my recollection of the novels, the magic in Aragorn works in such a way that in the magical language you cannot lie. You simply speak in that language. And it is so. Which is essentially used to defeat the mean villain in the story. Not by force. Or guile. But with guilt. So the answer is. So make everyone realize the ramifications of their actions. Every single one. Only then will people truly grasp what we as a society are doing. And what we are headed toward. I guess the equivalent of that would be like Jedi mind tricks. But it's only effective against those who already have a closed limited mind. Can I just make up any fictitious creature or does it have to be folklore or a franchise or something? Jimmy. The AIDS curing. COVID fixing. World peace ensuring flying whale. Who consumes carbon and farts out pure oxygen and grants mundane wishes to people who aren't jerks. Once a month he logs into Twitter and publishes epic memes. He also has a podcast where he speaks in only whale-based puns. Honestly, probably elves. Like, sure, they're rather judgmental about humans and will literally go to the ends of the earth to kill you for so much as touching a tree. But they really do help the environment for the better, no matter how much you'd hate them for being a bunch of racists. Unicorns. Legend had it that water from a pool they visited to drink from would heal most diseases. They could also clean a body of poisoned water by dipping their horn in it. Dead. Shavings powder from the horn cured serious disease, protected from poisons. A belt from unicorn hide protected from the plague. And shoes made from the hide protected from foot and leg diseases, like gout. Alive. As the legends I'd read say. A touch of the horn given freely by unicorn, its blessing, had incredible healing properties like curing the blind. Healing a broken heart. Or even saving someone's life. Satyrs and dryads. Maybe naiads too. Can you imagine? Forest spirits and nature lovers berating and maybe hitting you each time you cut down a tree? Satyrs would surely help us try to cut down pollution too. Doo-doo. Wouldn't have to eat turkey every single year at Thanksgiving and Christmas. You know what they say, variety is the spice of life. There's an alien race in Xenoblade Chronicles X that feeds of pollution all while cleaning everything. SCP-999, the tickle monster. It can cure depression and make people around it happy. It also smells like chocolate and bacon. You know those creatures in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that smack you in the face whenever you have a thought? Well, we need ones that smack you whenever you lie. Honestly. Modern day Mexico really could use a Batman-like hero. Corrupt police. Literally controlled by cartels. Mexico does not seem so different from Gotham. I think fairies. Some countries still believe in them, but I think if people had more respect for natural phenomenon, it would be a better place. Well, at first I would have said Andalites. But they were uppity cunts who were willing to let our planet burn if the Yerks burned with it. And we were ancillary to their concerns. MR. Manhattan from Watchmen. One who could FCK 'em all to death if they don't change for good. Imagine all those politicians getting ripped apart if they do shitty things. Only way of hope for this world before we die of capitalism without knowing it, cause majority doesn't even understand what's happening. Dwarfs who make magical machines. They might have hidden knowledge of mechanical marvels. Engineering sector would certainly appreciate new toys. Zergs. And Protoss. Oh wait. They're supposed to help the world? Zerg. Put us all into the Hivermind and we'd be one with the world. Don't know what you would call it in English. But in German it's called Ehrlegend Wohlmilchsau. Egg-laying wool milk so. Pokemon. Electric type and fire type can produce energy. Grass type counter deforestation plus help with agriculture. With water type ground and rock type can build stuff. I understand why the Pokemon universe is so focused on them. An omnigod, someone who can do anything, knows everything, exists in all points of space and time, and is the ultimate form of kindness would be nice. Keldeo, I think that was his name. He's like a unicorn Pokemon that absorbs air pollution. Suicune. It cleans full bodies of water just by walking. Santa Claus. If he really existed and helped the world's national academies of science, we could simultaneously solve levitation, teleportation, communications, manufacturing bottlenecks, transportation, logistics, pollution, and many labor problems. I mean, he has an army of elves helping him who seem perfectly happy and could teach these good manufacturing processes, labor relations, and employee benefits to HR and companies worldwide. He is somehow able to source almost infinite raw materials from nowhere, transport them, manufacture them with zero net carbon, and deliver them nearly instantly. He has solved worldwide communications. He has transcended space-time limitations. His teachings would allow us to transcend Amazon, Blue Apron, FedEx, airlines, space agencies, governments, etc. And as a bonus, he could possibly be the first global ambassador to other worlds. Because we could go anywhere at will. He could solve the issue of world peace, uniting countries and continents. In Germany there is the eierlegend Wollmilchsau. Roughly translates to the egg-laying wool milk pig and is humorously used as a saying if you request something impossible or better too good to be true. If this was an eierlegend Wollmilchsau, we could basically get rid of most other livestock, as we would only need that animal to fulfill the majority of our needs when it comes to basic livestock resources. That would dramatically decrease the carbon emissions and make it very easy to give people in third world countries a decent source of raw materials.